Hello, welcome to day 38 of 365 Days of Gaming. If you are marathoning our videos in a row, or you're watching it every single day, which I know you're not because I see my analytics, I just recorded day 37 because I had to re-record it because yesterday's video was being stupid and Mr. Mad wouldn't help me, and then I ended up uploading a dumb video. And unlike that time where I uploaded videos days in a row without hearing the audio, we went back and checked this one because we thought it was the computer, and nope, wasn't just the computer. It actually only had 2 minutes out of 35 minutes. It just keeps replaying the 2 minutes. It says it's a 35-minute video, but just replays the first 2 minutes. So, I like the Facebook game room. It's a good place. So yesterday we played Mana Crusher. This week we played Solitaire, FRVR, Fervor, Forever, and Jigsaw World. I might just play Jigsaw World every day until someone notices and tells me not to. Oh my. Oh my. Nope. This is the one. Cross Stitch World. Wow. This is either going to be the coolest game ever or like the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I'm not really sure. Untangling Strands. Readying Thimble. Oh, they went all out with this. They're very themed. Nodding Ends. I would say this is a game for your grandma, but it's not. So many people now cross-stitch, and I will tell you, I actually cross-stitched as a child because I was into old vintagey things, and I cross-stitched. I hook-rugged. Oh, full screen. Just what I wanted. Oh. So we're going to zoom in. Oh, they're numbered. Oh, sweet. It's kind of like a painting game. Except not a painting game. Sweet. It's one of those games that would be very therapeutic to play. And would be fun on a tablet. I say that about a lot of things, but a lot of these games would be so much more fun with a touchscreen than sitting at a desktop. You know? Alright. I think this might have been made by the same people who made Jigsaw World. I'm gonna go with probably... Ooh, what do we want to do? A small one, a medium one, a large one? Oh, there is no large ones. Let's go with the swirly small one. Because I don't really want to do a long video. Although, it could end up like the jigsaw puzzle where, if you guys remember that, the jigsaw puzzle, I was here for like 45 minutes making you watch jigsaw puzzles. I also know how to embroider. Oh, look. Even has a stitch, so you can click or you can hold it down, which I like. Hey, look, mistakes. I wish I could just click on the mistake and undo it. Sewing is a lost art form. And it's really sad because a lot of times I see people who are like, oh, I have to throw this shirt out or this item out because it's got a pull. And I have fixed things a few times for people. I had a roommate once, couldn't sew a button on her coat. And some of you may laugh, but there are a lot of people who can't sew a button on. Or they can't sew a button properly and they have to keep sewing it, especially with the wool, the peacoats, the wool peacoats. Everybody has them, but those buttons come off because they're machine stitched, a lot of them. And what a lot of those coats with buttons you have to do when you first get them to make sure you don't lose the button is you should actually go check the stitching on the button and add a few of your own. Because the machine stitches, like, once it goes, it all goes. Unlike when it's done by hand, it's not always like that. It's going to be interesting to zoom in and then see what it's like when it's zoomed out. I'm tempted to go back and do like the puppy or like the house or something. Because this one's just going to be the same thing. It's just all swirly patterns. It's not going to be as impressive as, say, a microscopic puppy that you zoomed out on. We'll see how long this takes, and then maybe I'll do the puppy for you. Maybe. Maybe. Just like I see a group of letters. Let's click that one. Ooh, these M's are bad. M's are not a drag and drop. M's are a click. Click, 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 click. I need to stop singing on these videos. The singing gamer, that's what I should be. That's how we should advertise. Come and laugh as she tries to sing while she tries to game. Hashtag double fail. Ba, 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 ba. Oh, there's a lot of bees. That's a statement. There's a lot of bees in the world. Although bees are dying, and not like bizaches, but like the little animal. Little animal. It's not an animal. It's an insect. But when bees die, we're screwed. But not all bees. The pollinating bees, the honeybees, and the bumbles. Hornets, though, and wasps. We don't need those. It's like there are people who are allergic to bees and wasps, but not necessarily both. And one of the people that I've met like that, it's because they were once stung and went into like severe allergic reaction, but no one saw what stung them, so they don't know what kind of insect she's allergic to, which is a little terrifying. Oh, look at the G's. Did I already do part of the G's? Because I feel like this is the same color. Did I scroll? Because why wouldn't I have finished them? Unless I got sidetracked with a mistake, which is entirely possible. I don't think we're going to get to the puppy today, folks. I thought this would be easy because it looked like they were like groups of the same color, but those groups of the same color are not actually that big. And we are super zoomed in right now. I don't even want to zoom out and find out how much of this I haven't done yet. It'll be interesting. It's neat how it stitches and it doesn't just show up as a stitch. It like actually goes one part of the X at a time. It's a cool animation. Well done. Well done. Another movie quote. 5 points if you could figure out who that was. That would be Julia Roberts in Pretty Woman when they're at the polo match. Of course, because prim and proper people just shout, "Well done! Brava! Bravo!" Hey, here's an educational opportunity for you. The difference between brava and bravo. Brava is what you say to women, and bravo is what you say to men. It's just like maestro. Not everyone who, and I learned those when I was a kid in a book about a maestra. Is it maestra? I'm going to say that and then I'm going to be wrong. But there are a lot of words that we use that people just commonly use the male one, and they don't realize there's actually a female word for it. Like alumni. Alumni, alumnus, alumnae. It's mostly in the spelling and less in the pronunciation. But it's not the same. There's that's one of the most complicated ones. There's the masculine singular, the feminine singular, the masculine plural, the feminine plural, and then the like generic plural. So a group of women is not the same as if it was a group of men and women. Which of course, it's an academic terminology. I'm rather impressed that they came up with that a long time ago. Or whether they came up with it to respect women, or whether they came up with it to segregate them. Who knows? I am not that knowledgeable in the etymology of alumni. Although I wish I would have. I wish I would have studied languages a little bit better. And the breakup of languages. I was happy through my English degree before I found out that my school actually had a program where you could learn that stuff, which would have been a much better fit for me. Possibly. I didn't realize that. I just assumed that that would fall under English. Nope, it falls under like linguistics and other things. I'm almost done this section. 15 minutes later. So I'll take a moment to guess how much of this I actually have finished. Quarter, a tenth of it. What do you think? Really, just like one. One is the loneliest number. Just like one of a different color. It's really annoying. Because from the big picture, they all looked like just chunks of the same color. But it shows you how, like, oh, look at that. Look at that. Oh. Oops. Look how little of the pattern I did. Oh, man. Man. That's horrible. I was expecting that it was like a quarter. At least. Not like a little teeny tiny section in the middle. It's very disheartening. I don't even know if I'm going to finish this all on this video. I mean, there's the sort of pride in doing it of just to say I did it. And kudos to you if you can actually sit through a whole video of me just talking and clicking on little letter boxes. It's tripping me out, all the letters. They're blending. We're gonna go alphabetical here. holding it down to do these little diagonal ones is probably not a good life choice, as I now have several mistakes to go back over. And it would not be that easy to undo these mistakes if I was actually doing a cross stitch. Now I'm just purposely doing it. See how many mistakes I can get. Yeah, da 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 da. I'll just shade in all these blues, all these B's. I'll just go pull them all out. I'm gonna hate myself in 2 seconds, so I'm gonna stop doing that. I'm gonna stop doing that while I go and do that over here. But that one was a mistake. It wasn't like those other ones where I was being on purpose. The first few were accidents. That whole coloring part in the middle, that was an intentional thing. Oh my goodness. This is a very time-consuming focus your attention, but less time-consuming than actual cross-stitching. Reminds me of Little House on the Prairie and reading about them doing cross stitches. Because the one sister in Little House on the Prairie goes blind. If you've ever watched the show, she really does, in the books and in real life, end up blind. And The Long Winter? You talk about all the stuff that Laura has to do because Mary can't. Carrie's too young. Carrie is too young and Mary is blind. And they have to burn straw. And so to prevent it from burning, they twist it. And they talk about how that's something Mary, I think that's one of the things Mary can do. And Mary makes rugs. Mary braids and sews rugs because she can do that, and it gives her family rugs and gives her gives them extra money from selling them. But anyway, Laura talks about doing cross stitch and sewing, and it's something that her sister loved to do and was good at, and she was never really good at, but now she has to. So it's interesting how life not enough people know how to sew, though. I think I said that. I really don't. I can do alterations and repair things, and I've made some things from scratch. I might have made a junior bridesmaid's dress from scratch for the wedding, which I put off, and then it came out really bad because I was rushed and sewed it by hand. But I can actually sew by hand. Can't use a machine. Still trying to figure that out. But it's interesting how many people don't. Even socks. I mean, I throw out Mr. Mad's socks when they have holes in them. But I could darn them. I just don't want to. And our socks aren't really made for darning anymore, the cotton ones that are like machine produced. But if you have fancy socks, and I've had socks over the years where I'm like, no, I really like this pair, and it's just got a hole in it and it's not worn out anywhere else, I'm gonna darn this sock. But I don't darn them as well as, say, other people who lived in pioneering times. Wow. So, and I think I even picked an easy level one. But still, it will be here forever. When I'm done this block, I'll quit. At least I'll quit videotaping. I say that all the time, and then I go on for another like 45 minutes. No one's really trolled us yet and been like, your videos are stupid, so I'm just gonna keep doing And guess what? Even if you troll me and tell me my videos are stupid, I'm probably going to keep doing them. At least trolling means people are watching. Unless you're trolling for no reason, at which point you won't hear my little lecture right now on trolling. So is it counterproductive to lecture the people who aren't watching about trolling without watching? Maybe. Maybe they'll skip through and they'll happen to see that clip. Who knows? Oh my gosh. Just keeps going. And going and going and going. Obviously these are the solo letters, and soon I will get to the letters which are big massive spots, and I'll have filled in all the little tiny ones. So then they'll be more fun to do. Right? Sure. Whatever you say, kid. Look at all the subtle little, like, it's like purple on purple on purple, or white on white on white, but it's gonna give it that depth. It's like, seriously, who came up with this stuff? Like, it's impressive. It's understandable why it, like, used to be considered a really popular art form. Now you can just buy everything. See, because now you can go and you can buy a cross stitch that's been done by a machine, so we don't put as much value on it. But there are still people who do this. And I love going to the craft shows. It's kind of hit or miss. Some craft shows are full of crap. And then like Pinterest, older people doing Pinterest things that I'm like, I could Pinterest that myself. But then there are other older people who just think it's the coolest thing and they've never seen it before. I love crafting, but I don't have the patience to do a lot of it at once. So while I could craft to sell things at a craft show, you have to have a lot, and you have to be able to like, oh sure, I'll make that in this color, or here's this one thing I have in 20 colors. Ah, oh, sweet, look at this. The big coloring in. It's nice. It's like those old paint programs that used to color in. Which is why, like I said, I wouldn't sit at the desktop and do this. But I'm really going to see if I can play it on one of my mobile devices. I always say tablet or phone, but then I don't actually ever play games on my phone because it's antiquated and it has crap storage. And I don't play anything on the tablet because the tablet is old. We have this thing called a Shield, which is kind of like a mini computer. Kind of looks like a video game thing, and you can actually use it for certain video games. But then it also functions like a computer. But it reads apps and websites like it's mobile. And yet it's better than mobile, because sometimes it'll read it like it's an actual real website. It's kind of weird. Like, I can surf the web like normal, and it's not necessarily only mobile supported websites, although nowadays, like every website can go on mobile. Because the browser works normal, and it reads PDFs, and, well, it does a lot of things that a phone does. But when I play games, the games register it as a mobile device. Which is kind of cool. Because sometimes there are different deals on the mobile. Ugh, had to go alphabetical. These M's are bad. I'm just trying to decide what I'm going to go watch on TV / watch on Netflix when I'm done with this. In addition to taking gaming suggestions, I will take television suggestions, but only if it's on Netflix. Because we don't actually have cable. And really, only if it's on Canadian Netflix. Which is a real annoyance. There are programs you can put on your computer to trick Netflix into thinking that you're American. And I've actually had friends who lived in the States and moved to Canada, and so Netflix still thought they were American, so they could keep watching their favorite shows that maybe perhaps Canada doesn't have. It's really annoying. And now Netflix takes shows and movies on and off, because 1 month the movie will be there, and then it's gone. And sometimes it's very sad, because I'm like, I want to watch this. Although I find if I try to search a movie often enough, it seems to show up on my Netflix. Because that happened a couple times. Movies that I was always searching for and weren't there, and I'd always search just to make sure, and then one day it showed up. And I was like, really, Netflix? Are you listening to what I Google? To what I search? I love how we use Google as the instead of search. We don't say I looked it up or I searched for it. You just say I Googled it. Even if you're not Googling. You know, although most websites now, their search bar is actually run through Google. Sometimes it only searches their own website, but it's still hosted through Google, so technically you can say you Googled. But it's its own verb for search. That word, that fancy word for when one word and another word have the same meaning, but they're different words. It's one of those. Yep, and I just said I was an English major, and yet I'm blanking. Oh, you can't go over. Oh, that's awesome. If you've already colored it in, you can't go over it with another color. So over here, I can just color right over the already completed yarn spaces, and it won't recolor them. That's kind of cool. I mean really, really, really cool. It's going to help for these little ones, like the Q's over here. The Q. Q is always causing trouble. And if you watch Star Trek, you know exactly who I'm talking about. Q Jr. was adorable. Adorable. I had a big crush on him. And Icheb. I've actually had a crush, I think, on majority of the Star Trek characters, because at different ages you find different ones attractive. And maybe the older, you know, like when you're a kid, you're like default, ooh, Wesley Crusher, ooh, Icheb. And there's a whole lot of geeks who just went, boo, Wesley. But I loved him. I thought he was fabulous. And then this other show that I am like absolutely addicted to from the 90s, it's called seaQuest. It did the same thing. They had like this cute young guy who was a super genius. It was basically Star Trek underwater, but different. It was really good. And they didn't intend for him to, unlike I've heard things about how people hate Wesley, and that's part of the reason they took him off. Jonathan Brandis played this character called Lucas Wallencheck on seaQuest, and he wasn't supposed to be a main character, but then all these, it was like a not that kind of show, but then all these like preteen girls were absolutely in love with him because he had a career outside of the show. But if you've ever seen The Never-Ending Story, the second one, which is my favorite one, and actually was the only one I had on video as a kid, and I didn't even realize that it was the same guy that I loved in all these other shows. But I'd rather I heart him. He committed suicide in the 2002. He was almost, maybe not almost, Leonardo DiCaprio and him and not River Phoenix, Jacqueline Phoenix. No, is it River Phoenix? Whichever one is dead. There's a whole group of them that used to, like, they were all always up for the same roles, and they all had, if you look at Leonardo DiCaprio in the 90s, when he had that blonde hair and that shaggy, that's what Jonathan Brandis looked like. So they were always up for the same roles. Apparently he, at some point, interviewed for Titanic or screenread for Titanic and didn't get it. And the biggest disappointment at all, listen to this, all you geeky Star Wars fans, apparently, because we all know that nobody likes the new Anakin. Nobody likes Anakin, whatever his name is. That guy. I mean, I liked him, but he was so many people hate him. And then knowing that Jonathan Brandis applied or like read for, or was one of the, you know, maybe it's just a rumor stirred by fans. As a child, he would have made the cutest Anakin, and as an adolescent, he would have made the best older Anakin, because he did angst really, really well. My favorite movies is called The Year That Trembled. It's actually a really good movie, but also happens to have Jonathan Brandis in it. How did I miss these A's over here? And the P's. Did I not do P already? Oh. Are we down to numbers? T-U-V-W-X-Y. Because I said so. Oh, when that movie Because I Said So came out, I had to buy it for my mom. Everybody else's mom say Because I Said So. It was like a nice reinforcement. She's like, why'd you buy me this movie? Why do you think I bought you this movie? What are you trying to tell me? I'm trying to tell you that you're not alone, and Diane Keaton apparently talks the same way you do. Plus, my mom loves Diane Keaton. And who doesn't? Although I've seen her in a lot of things. When I was little, it was Father of the Bride, and The First Wives Club. And then as I got older and I saw her in like The Godfather and everything, oh, see, that block was so much bigger. Oh. Oh, because I did it as a 2 instead of a 3. Well, I said I would stop, but it's only been a half hour, and we really haven't surpassed the Jigsaw World video. And as this is made by the same people. We had to give them equal coverage. What was I talking about? Oh, marathoning TV shows. Yeah. So right now, we're on our like 1,000,000th rewatch of Roseanne. Because we love Roseanne. And can't stop watching that show. Basically, like, this is our life if we had kids. And if we'd gotten married right out of high school. Which we did not meet. Surprisingly. Although there were several opportunities. Actually, we did meet years and years ago. Neither one of us really remembers it. Only kind of. But we may or may not have had a good conversation. And I may or may not have flirted with Mr. Mad. But we're still not decided whether or not the fellow who I can't really remember anything about at this barbecue, whether that was him or whether or not that was someone else. Because he has a really bad memory and he can't even remember what he ate 5 minutes ago. He does something stupid he's not supposed to. Why is this here? Why did you leave this out here? I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? You did it. I don't know. He's like a child. Who ate the cookies? I don't know. There's a cookie in your hand. Who ate the cookies? Oh, I don't know. It is both adorable and endearing and irritating and frustrating all at the same time. Because you're like, come on, you're a grown man. Why would you do this after I asked you not to? I don't know. Because I forgot. I don't have the patience for a husband. I definitely don't have the patience for babies. It started I was like, no one bugged us about getting married or having kids. When we first got together, we had family who joked about us getting married. But then maybe I did kind of stop once we got engaged, so maybe that was why it stopped. And we were engaged for a year and a half. And there was nothing. There was no comment about babies. And there was no comment about, like, oh, once you get married, you can start having babies. No. There was none of that. But it's already started. But, like, in weird ways. My mother did it. We were in the Michael's craft store. And we're going down this aisle with, like, baby stuff and wedding stuff. I don't know why. And I thought she was showing me something wedding. And I was like, I already got married. I know it was a big, giant soother full of, big plastic soother full of favors, baby shower favors. I was like, why are you even looking at that? Nobody in our family is having a baby. You know what her reason was? Well, I thought my daughter that just got married in the summer. I was like, don't even, just stop right there. Stop. She's already planning the baby shower. She's a crazy woman. We would love to have babies, but we can't afford them. And not like we can't afford them, like we'd rather spend our money on other things. We actually have very, very, very little income. Namely because we live in a very low income, unemployed part of Canada where neither one of us have jobs all year round. I have all freelance. So, babish for now. We have our fur baby. Or as we like to call him, we don't call him our fur baby like so many people do. We call him our purr baby. Which came out of wrapping him up one time in a blanket and the joke about purrito. So now we call him our purr baby, and I like to make him into a little purrito all the time, especially when he's just had a bath. But in a nice way. Our cat lets us do all kinds of things to him. He doesn't even get upset. He's crazy. I think he's just happy to be loved. He was a stray, but he has a tattoo, which means he was someone's pet, but they couldn't decipher the tattoo, and no one claimed him. He doesn't like other cats. They had to keep him in his own cage at the shelter. And he was really skittish at first, but now he's kind of... Although he always from the very beginning would let us pick him up. Like, I bathed him, like, the second day we had him, and I didn't get scratched or anything. He ran away once he was, like, could, but he doesn't fight us at all. He'll fight a little bit, but then he kind of goes, okay, I'm not going to fight you. But he doesn't hiss or scratch. The only time he scratched is the first day we had him. Mr. Mad was snopping around, and I was, like, cuddling him. And I wouldn't let him run away because I wanted him to try and get used to me. I was kind of pushing it. And Mr. Mad came thundering around the corner and scared the cat so much that the cat's claws came out when he jumped, and he scratched me. And then Mr. Mad has gotten scratched because Mr. Mad likes to do stupid things, like bathe the cat for no reason, other than he thinks he smells. We have this wonderful waterless bath stuff. It's like foam, so it's like mousse that you foam up and you massage into the cat, and it dries, and you brush him, and then he smells nice. And he's clean. It's waterless shampoo. And no, he feels the need to put him in a bath. And then, he just did it one time, and he'll never do it again, because he got scratched. And then, he didn't even shampoo him. He just got him all wet. And I was like, that's not... You're an idiot. You're making him smell worse by getting him wet. And then, I was like, what happens to you when you get shower? What happens to your hair when it gets wet and doesn't get shampooed? It gets grosser. Sometimes. Not for everybody. In the summer it's nice when your hair dries like beach hair. I had a really, really, really great selfie this summer with beach hair. And it just looks like everybody else's selfie. And all like trendy and la la la. But I cannot do beach hair. I have the worst time getting my hair to do anything. I have a lot of it, and it's a big wild mess, and I love it. I love that it is the way that it is, and it's wild, and it's never really tamed. But it's not like curl untamed. It's got like the tiniest bit of curl, so it's not poker straight, and it's volumey. But it's not like, you know, if you've ever seen girls with curly hair where you can kind of just go crazy with it, and it looks fabulous. I find. Some people don't like it. I was voted worst hair, or I had people vote for the worst hair when I was in grade school. I was in grade 8. Because I had really, really, really long, beautiful hair. But I didn't wear it long. I always wore it braided or in like a messy bun. But messy buns, when you have waist-length hair, I mean, they're just kind of odd. And I didn't have perfect blonde hair, and I didn't style it, and I still don't style it. Although, as an adult, I once worked in a fashion retailer, like a high-end fashion retailer, for over a year, and it was a really great job. And I was a stockroom manager for the second half of my time there, which was great, because as much as I liked handling customers, I didn't like the push for sales. And I liked just listening to music and hiding out in my stockroom. But I still had to look. And there was a huge push to always have perfect hair and perfect clothes and perfectly accessorized. And one time I lost it. I got told I didn't come to work looking good. And then the boss came back and said, well, you don't look very well put together. I was like, whatever. She's like, because I didn't have makeup on. Like, I do have makeup on. I wore BB cream instead of, I don't wear foundation. Once I discovered BB cream, which if you don't know what it is, if you ever have a problem with foundation or with your skin breaking out, BB cream is basically like tinted moisturizer. And if you get a good branded one, it's so much gentler on your skin, especially if you have to wear makeup every day. And I was like, I have foundation on. I had this BB cream on. To this boss who told me that I didn't look put together and I didn't have makeup on. I said, what do you mean I don't put it together? I didn't have accessories. I didn't accessorize. But I was wearing like the stuff from the store. And I didn't have all my accessories on. And my hair was, you know, there wasn't say spectacular. I think it was in a pony with like the wraparound. But the underside of my hair was bleached. So my wraparounds, my hair was like dark brown and it was poker straight, and the wraparounds were blonde. But I hadn't straightened my hair. I had just done something to it. And or I put a braid in it because the braids looked cool because I had long hair and I had the streak. And so I had eyeshadow but brown eyeshadow, so it blended in. I had natural makeup on. My boss told me I didn't look put together. It's amazing how people will say and do these things without even thinking. When I was younger, I wore makeup one time. I had stage makeup on, and I have very sensitive skin, and I could not use the theater foundation. I'd use regular foundation, and then just layer everything else. But I'm a very tanned person. So it worked out well for me that I didn't get washed out on stage. I could just get away with some of the regular makeup, and this person carried on about how great I looked, how different I looked with makeup. And I get that all the time when I go and I wear makeup. And when I wore makeup every day, sometimes people would see me after work who had gone to school with me when I didn't wear any makeup at all. They couldn't believe it. They're like, why don't you do that? Because I don't want to. Because if you're going to spend 45 minutes, you're going to carry on and tell me how pretty I look because I have makeup on. Why don't you think I look pretty the rest of the time? My philosophy was if I had to have makeup on to be pretty, then I wasn't pretty, so why lie? Although as an adult I've learned, you know, sometimes I wear foundation because my skin is not perfect. and I totally just logged out of our full screen here. Well, it makes me feel good, and it looks nice in pictures, but you don't have to have makeup to be pretty. I'm amazed sometimes when I see people. I went tanning with a friend one time. I couldn't believe what she looked like without makeup on. Because with makeup, she was extremely dark, and we went tanning. She's a pale girl with freckles. I was like, you have freckles? She's like, yeah, that's why I wear so much makeup. And I'm like, oh my god, you're a crazy woman. And she learned. She was like a few years younger than me. She was like 18 when she was doing that, and she learned that she didn't have to do that, that she was pretty without it. But it's very hard. It's interesting because humans are like the only species where the females are the pretty ones. With birds and everything, it's always the males that are like, you know, have all the bright colors. And humans are interesting because we think women are the ones that, you know, women are the ones that put on all the makeup and care so much about what they look like. Although there are a few men who should care a little bit more about what they look like, and by that I mean personal hygiene. Learn it, love it, make it your friend. We're at the way past the 45-minute mark, and I don't even know where we are. This is a really time-consuming game. So we did the sample one, but this is where we are after 45 minutes. So, there's a timer up in the... I have the timer for the recording program, but there's a timer up on the right-hand side that's actually built into the game. And it shows you I am at 46%. This one will probably take me 2 hours, because 46%, it's almost an hour, so probably halfway done after an hour. Although once you get in the flow of things, I think it goes faster. So yeah, like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter, Madhouse MMO, 2Ds and Mad. Troll us if you want. I dare ya. Peace out.